You think John Wick had a hit list? Please. Michael Jordan turned the entire NBA into his personal vendetta catalog, and trust me, nobody was safe. From rookie trash talkers to Hall of Fame legends, MJ had a photographic memory for disrespect and a jump shot that served ice-cold revenge. Today, we're counting down the 10 most brutal hit list moments where his airness decided someone needed to learn a lesson they'd never forget. The frozen envelope. David Stern. David Stern was more than a commissioner. He was the architect of modern NBA mythology, a man who could manufacture legends with the stroke of a pen. Under his reign, the league went global, and Jordan wasn't just a player, he was the product. Sneakers, commercials, international tours. But when whispers of gambling debts and late-night casino runs started circling Jordan's spotless image, Stern found himself cornered. The story goes like this. In 1993, after the tragic murder of his father, Jordan shocked the world by retiring at the peak of his powers. Officially, he said it was grief, fatigue, a desire to chase his baseball dream. Unofficially, conspiracy theorists insist David Stern pushed him out, a quiet suspension dressed as a farewell tour. The NBA couldn't afford a scandal. Its golden boy, tainted by whispers of shady betting, the league's credibility would have shattered. Better to stage manage an exit than fight a firestorm. And so Jordan disappeared. A god playing double-A baseball, riding buses, swinging bats, living a life beneath his stature. To fans, it seemed tragic. To conspiracists, it reeked of exile. Stern was supposedly cleaning house, freezing out the very man who built the empire. But here's the thing about trying to control Michael Jordan. You can't. In March 1995, he returned. No fanfare, no staged press conference, just 2 words faxed to the media. "I'm back." He stepped onto the court wearing number 45, a nod to his baseball stint, a symbolic fresh start. And then, in his 5th game back, he casually dropped 55 points on the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, as if to remind the world that exile hadn't dulled the blade. 2 months later, he shed 45 and reclaimed 23, as if to say the experiment was over, the disguise unnecessary. The next 3 years, 3 straight championships, a second three-peat, the return of an empire stronger than before. If Stern truly believed he was controlling the narrative, Jordan shattered it. The supposed punishment only deepened the myth. Forced out for gambling? He came back to win. Supposedly exiled by the commissioner, he used that exile as fuel. What was meant to silence him became the greatest hold my beer moment in sports history. Jordan didn't just beat Stern's alleged plot, he turned it into a new chapter in his legend. A reminder that no matter how powerful the commissioner's office was, no man could dictate the script of Michael Jordan. The NBA may have frozen him out, but when the ice melted, Jordan returned not as a player, but as inevitability. But wait, if you think embarrassing the commissioner was savage, you haven't seen what happens when someone messes with Jordan's fashion choices. The Pistons' silent treatment. The Detroit Pistons didn't just defend Michael Jordan, they engineered a system of violence against him. They called it the Jordan Rules, but it was less a basketball strategy and more a sanctioned street fight in NBA uniforms. Every time he drove the lane, they made him pay. Elbows in the ribs, forearms to the face, hard fouls that rattled bones and tested willpower. It was the closest thing the league had to a legal hit job. For years, they brutalized him. And for years, he kept coming back. But then, in 1991, the balance of power shifted. The Bulls swept the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals, a symbolic execution of the Bad Boys dynasty. And instead of conceding with dignity, the Pistons staged one of the pettiest walk-offs in sports history, leaving the floor without handshakes, without respect, without acknowledgement that their reign was over. Isaiah Thomas led the exodus, chin high, pride intact. He thought he was sending a message. He was. He just didn't realize who was listening. Michael Jordan was a genius in many ways, but his most dangerous talent was his memory. He remembered everything, every foul, every insult, every slight, and he weaponized them. While most players let grudges fade, Jordan stored his in cold storage, preserved forever, ready to serve as motivation decades later. So, when it came time to assemble the 1992 Olympic Dream Team, the greatest basketball roster ever conceived, Isaiah Thomas should have been a lock. Finals MVP, multiple All-Star appearances, champion, leader of the Pistons dynasty. On paper, his credentials screamed inclusion, but Jordan's grudge screamed louder. The whispers were clear. If Isaiah is on the team, I'm not. The committee caved. Isaiah was blackballed. And it didn't stop there. For years, Thomas found doors in basketball mysteriously closed. Coaching opportunities fizzled. Respect in the media never matched his talent. It was as if the game itself had turned its back on him. The common denominator? Michael Jeffrey Jordan, quietly pulling strings, making sure the score was settled. The Pistons thought the Jordan rules would break him. Instead, they forged him. Every bruise, every foul, every shove hardened him into something unstoppable. And when the tables turned, Jordan didn't need to throw punches. His revenge was cleaner, more permanent, and far more devastating. The Pistons tried to assassinate a king. What they created instead was a god, and gods don't forget. Speaking of players who thought they could mess with the GOAT, one rookie made the mistake of his lifetime on a random Tuesday night. LeBradford Smith's 37-point mistake. March 19th, 1993. Some dude named LeBradford Smith dropped 37 points on the Bulls. The next night, Jordan heard Smith say he was glad he could give Michael Jordan 37. Plot twist. Smith never actually said that, but MJ convinced himself he did. Result? Jordan torched Smith for 36 points in the first half of their next meeting. That's right, Jordan literally created beef out of thin air just to have an excuse to destroy someone. That's not basketball, that's psychological warfare with a basketball. But if you think Jordan only went after nobodies, buckle up because he had special treatment reserved for superstars who dared to challenge him. The Drexler Demolition. 1992. Finals Clyde. The Glide Drexler made the fatal error of being compared to Michael Jordan. Sports Illustrated put them both on the cover. Analysts debated who was better, and Drexler probably felt pretty good about himself. Then the 1992 finals happened. Jordan averaged 35.8 points, shot 53% from three, and had that legendary shrug game where he hit 6 threes in the first half. By the end, Drexler looked like he needed therapy. Jordan didn't just win that series, he made sure nobody would ever compare them again. Now, you might think Jordan only targeted opponents, but oh no, this man put his own teammates on the hit list too. The Scottie Pippen Headache Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals, 1990. Scottie Pippen gets a migraine and basically disappears. Jordan plays 44 minutes with a separated shoulder and still nearly beats the Pistons. Fast forward to practice the next season. MJ spent months roasting Pippen about that headache, questioning his toughness in front of everyone. He turned his best friend into target practice until Pippen proved he could handle the pressure. That's leadership by intimidation, and it worked because they won 6 championships together. But wait, there's more. Jordan once ended a player's confidence so badly, the guy literally retired from basketball. The Muggsy Bogues assassination. Poor Muggsy Bogues. 5'3" in a league of giants. A man who defied physics just by stepping onto an NBA court. He was heart and hustle incarnate, a crowd favorite, a symbol of persistence against impossible odds. But in the cruel theater of the NBA, every David eventually meets his Goliath. For Muggsy, that Goliath was Michael Jordan. It was the 1995 playoffs, Hornets versus Bulls, a tense, high-pressure possession. Muggsy, undersized but never intimidated, found himself with the ball, staring down the most ruthless competitor the game had ever seen. Then it happened, the alleged line that has echoed through basketball lore ever since. Jordan leaned in, eyes cold, voice low, and said, "Shoot it, you midget." Asterisk, those 5 words weren't just trash talk, they were a scalpel, slicing through years of self-belief, underdog pride, and confidence that had carried Bogues to the league. Muggsy took the shot. He missed, and according to the legend, he never truly recovered. His field goal percentage declined. His offensive confidence eroded. He became hesitant, second-guessing the very instincts that had made him special. Some basketball historians claim that this moment, a single possession in a single playoff game, marked the beginning of the end of Muggsy Bogues' effectiveness as a player. Not an injury, not age, not the grind of the league, just words. Jordan didn't merely block a shot or steal the ball. He assassinated a career, and that's the chilling part. Jordan didn't just outscore his opponents. He dismantled them. He understood the psychological battlefield better than anyone else. For most players, a miss was just a miss. For Muggsy, it became a ghost that haunted every jumper he took afterward. In the mythology of basketball, it stands as one of the darkest examples of Jordan's killer instinct. A reminder that greatness isn't always beautiful. Sometimes it's merciless, sometimes it's cruel. And in this case, it was a public execution carried out under the bright lights of the NBA playoffs. A murder without blood, but with a victim all the same. Muggsy Bogues walked off the court still alive, still standing at 5 feet 3 inches. But as the story goes, part of his game never stood again. From psychological warfare to physical domination, MJ's next victim thought he could outmuscle the master Karl Malone's Mailman Blues. Karl Malone was the mailman who delivered everywhere except the finals against Jordan. 1997 and 1998, 2 chances to beat MJ, 2 epic failures. The 1998 Finals Game 6 is poetry in motion. Jordan steals the ball from Malone, hits the championship-winning shot, and walks off into the sunset. Malone had to watch Jordan retire on his home home court, holding a trophy that should have been his. The mailman learned that some packages get returned to sender. But you know what's worse than losing to Jordan? Trying to copy him and getting exposed in front of the entire basketball world. The Penny Hardaway reality check. Penny Hardaway was supposed to be the next Jordan. Nike marketed him that way. He had the skills, the charisma, everything. Then the 1996 playoffs happened. Jordan swept Hardaway's Magic, averaged 28 points, and made it look effortless. Penny was talented, but standing next to the real thing made him look like a tribute band trying to cover the Beatles. Jordan didn't just beat him. He reminded everyone there was only one original. Now, if you think Jordan only bullied players, wait until you hear what he did to an entire coaching staff. The coaching carousel massacre. Jordan went through coaches like they were disposable contacts. Doug Collins thought he could control MJ. Gone. Even Phil Jackson had to earn his respect through multiple championship runs. But the real carnage came with the Wizards. Jordan came out of retirement, supposedly to help the team, then systematically undermined every coaching decision until he basically became player, coach, president, janitor. He put his own coaches on the hit list and cleaned house like he was spring cleaning. Finally, the most savage hit list moment of all. When Jordan decided to destroy someone's legacy just because he could, the ultimate power move, keeping players off Team USA. This is the most ruthless thing Jordan ever did. He had the power to influence Team USA rosters and used it like a weapon. Isaiah Thomas, one of the best point guards ever, allegedly got blackballed from the 1992 Dream Team because Jordan didn't like him. Think about that. MJ was so petty that he cost a generational talent the chance to represent his country on the biggest stage. That's not just basketball beef, that's career assassination with a smile. So there you have it. 10 times Michael Jordan proved that his memory was longer than his list of accomplishments, and that's saying something because the man won everything. Whether it was rookies talking trash, superstars getting compared to him, or entire organizations disrespecting his greatness, Jordan turned every slight into motivation, and every motivation into domination. Here's the thing about legends. They don't just beat you, they make sure you remember why you lost. Jordan didn't just have a hit list, he was the hit list, and every name on it got exactly what they deserved. Did we miss any legendary Jordan revenge moments? No problem. There's enough MJ pettiness to fuel the whole series. If you're into NBA, you'll love Basketball Room Explained.